Hey, in this video, I'm going to do an brief overview of the unit, where does our food come from? And my goal is to get this in 10 minutes or less. You get a sense of where you're going with the whole unit and a little bit of how to work through the slide deck that I built for you. So, first thing, if you look at the very first slide, driving question, where does our food come from? That is the key question we're trying to answer throughout the entire thing. By the end of the unit, the goal is that students have pictures and they have plants and they have all kinds of things that they can use to explain and describe where their food comes from. So that's the goal. Have the weeks broken out, 4 weeks. In week 1, what do the plants need in order to grow? What are some of the key pieces that they need? You will not answer that question in the first week, but you're going to get started on it, and then you'll keep answering bits of it as you go through. It's kind of the long project on that. We're going to be using green beans as one of our anchoring activities. You're going to grow some in a plastic bag. I'll show you that later. And so we're going to get to know green beans a little better. Week 2, it starts to go into the how do plants grow? What are some of the transport mechanisms? So thinking about roots and stems and what are the plant parts, right? And what do they do? So what are the leaves responsible for? What are the flowers responsible for? What are the fruits responsible for? All those things. Week 3, the idea of a plant life cycle. So now that we understand that there's fruits and there's seeds, then those seeds in the fruit then become the next generation of plants. And so that there's this cycle that goes through, and all living things go through this cycle. So that's a big piece of that one. And then really thinking about what parts do we eat. It turns out we eat all parts of a plant. Different plants, different parts, but that is what we do. And then coming back to that last question, that first question, again, where does our food come from? Students should be building a resource, a set of things to share at the Mercado, right? And to share what they've learned. So that's the hope. There is a materials list here. Hopefully you have all that stuff for you ready. Please look through the resources here, especially the key science practices. It's really important that you understand the modalities of all this. So please take a look at that. The must, should, and aspire to do, there's a video explaining what that all means as well. Here's the driving question board. You already know this if you looked at the resources, but the driving question board is where we're going to put up questions, where we're going to put up our ideas and thoughts and our evidence for different pieces or different claims. So you can have this up on the board digitally if you want to. I don't think it's quite as good. Sometimes it's nice to put physical objects on the driving question board. I always took butcher paper, 3 feet wide, maybe a 4 foot long piece, taped it up to the wall, put these different questions on there, and allow students to visually see it every day they walk in. You point to it when you're referencing something that you've done. You can, again, if you look at the driving question board video, it talks about this more, but when students ask questions, they can go on there. So day 1, your anchoring phenomenon is to bring in a bowl of salad or something like that and be eating it and be like, oh, this is so amazing. And students are going to be like, what is the teacher doing eating a salad right now? And then that's going to drive into that question of where did this food come from? Where did this salad come from? All the different bits, the lettuce, the radishes, the whatever you have in there. And so that is this anchoring thing for the students. They make a connection to it, and then we'll keep referring back to, where did my salad come from again? What part are the leaves of the salad from? Well, they're leaves. So that's it. And then introduce the driving question board. That's this part here. And then if you have time, and it's really ideal to do this, asking questions. Have the students, once they see this driving question board, have them generate, what questions do you have about where the food comes from? And you can write them down on a Post-it note, stick those up on the driving question board. Don't answer them in the moment. We'll come back to them as you learn things in the unit. Couple key pieces. One thing you'll see is that there are these little links in here. So again, this kind of talks about, there's a slide in here and some information and a video that talks about the driving question board. And then, oops, I keep doing that. This thing right here, there's links to a website. And this website I found has a lot of good activities, good pictures in it. So I've linked a lot of these for that particular activity. So you'll see down here it says, plant a seed in a bag. And so what you'll do is you'll go down here and you'll look for these titles, and you'll find the one that says plant a seed in a bag, and that's down a little lower. There we go, planting seeds. We're getting close. Plant the seeds in a pot. We're going to do that the second day. But the first one is Observing sprouts in a plastic sandwich bag. Not that one. Plant a seed in a bag. There it is right there. And so what literally you're going to do is you're going to put a bean seed, put some potting soil inside of a Ziploc bag, put a bean seed in there, tape it up to the window. This will allow students to watch the roots grow. If you put the seed on the surface, on the interior surface of that soil, then they'll be able to see the roots growing, and then the plant will actually, if you keep it open up on top, important to do that so the gases can exchange, then the plant can grow out of the bag, and it's basically a little pot that we can tape to the window and see through and actually see the roots. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Ideally, if you have it, you want to put it in a non-south facing window, or east or west facing window. It gets really hot in the afternoons, and that sun can actually cook the plants. So either on a south facing window or in a east facing window would be ideal. Or if there's maybe some shade, so there's plenty of light coming in, but there's some shade to protect it so it doesn't get too hot. It's actually really important over the weekends because it's going to go for a long time before coming out. All right, so that's that activity, right? So there's instructions in that site that kind of show you how to do it. And then also note, I sometimes have these orange highlights here. Those are actually notes over here on the side. And so this particular one here, right, this note here, notice there's a show more, so you click on that, and it just gives you a little bit more information that didn't fit, honestly, in the box over here about how you can set it up and some of the controls, because we don't want to just have the same thing set up for everybody. We want to see what happens when we have no soil, right? We've got water, and we got the seed, and we got the bag, and then we got sunlight, but no water, or no soil. What happens with that? Or what if there's no water? What happens if there's no light? And so different setups for different control situations. That's going to be important to answer the question, what do plants need? So they need water, they need sunlight, they need soil, and they need air. But we'll talk about that later. So anyways, now, so that's the day one. It's really important that day one you get those beans in the Ziploc bags because they do take time to go through to grow. And so 3-4 weeks is about what we need really for them to see leaves and all that. Strongly recommend pre-soaking the seed. So if you can think about it the day before or any number of hours before the students start doing this activity, throw in some water, throw the beans in some water, and let them start to soak up. That'll get the water going into the bean faster. It'll make the sprouts happen faster. So no more than 24 hours in advance, though, because you can actually kill the seed if it's in water, if it drowns in water. So 24 hours ahead of time, or so you can do it at home and then bring it in the next day on Sunday or whatever day. That's fine. Second day, you're going to be planting seeds in the pot. And so that's this activity right here. All right, so the students are going to get a little 4-inch pot, so a bigger pot than this one, plant a seed in it. And I recommend either using radish or lettuce seed. They will be great. The students, and this is more just to allowing the students to see a plant. They can eat the radish that comes out of it. They can eat the lettuce that comes off the lettuce. They can take it home. If it's lettuce, they can plant it and eat off of it for a while. Maybe you let them do both. Every student maybe has the ability to grow a radish and a lettuce plant, which would be really cool. Okay. Next, so we're going to go through and then we start doing the regular things. I'm not going to go through every step, but those are two really important ones. At the end of this unit, students are going to be creating basically a display. They're going to have a life cycle poster, set of drawings. They're going to have plant part drawings. They're going to have their plants themselves, and they should be able to explain this big question, our overarching question: where does our food come from? Right? They should be able to give a pretty good idea of what that is, knowing that there's a plant goes through a life cycle. They come, and there's seeds, and the seeds sprout, and they create next babies, and we need water, and we need soil, and we need water, soil, and now I can't even think of it. But anyways, you got the point. Like, the students can go through it and they can get as much understanding as possible. All right, that's our brief overview. If you have any questions, please let me know. All right, take care, everybody. I almost forgot. Please, please, please take pictures, take videos of the process as you go through it. I don't have any of those. And take notes, things that didn't work. I have never done this with kindergartners, so I don't know how it's going to work out. So please give me feedback, give me videos and ideas so that I can have those as a part of this introductory video for next year. All right, take care.